Looking at metaphors and also maximising one's potential. Who is it that motivates you? Who do you go to? What book or what person to help guide you make some of those decisions in life? And for some of you, it may be going to a coach. And joining us now to talk to us about coaching and in particular some events that are happening this week to mark International Coaching Week. It gives me pleasure to welcome Nick Woodthorpe Wright, Managing Director of Woodthorpe Wright Associates and President of the Dubai chapter of the International Coach Federation. Good morning to you, Nick.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
And welcome, and thank you for coming in. So it's a busy week for you. Tell me first off about the International Coaching Week and what that means.
Great. The International Coaching Week is a global process, I guess, that the International Coach Federation came up with some 13 years ago now. The point of that was really just to start to publicize the process of coaching and to engage people in it as an industry, to help people understand a little bit more, understand how to engage with a coach, what to expect from a coach and so forth, to really start to answer some of the sort of general questions that are out there.
Now, we talk a lot on the show. I mean, throughout the week, Dubai Today, it's about work-life balance. So a big part of that is coaching. And there's many of them here in the UAE. So can anybody be a coach? I mean, how do we define the word coach?
Okay, well, so the International Coach Federation defines coaching in this way. So as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So, it's really, can anyone be a coach on the back of that? Well, in some respects, we're all coaches. We're coaches at many levels. But if you want to step into the profession of coaching, then that requires a set of skills. And that requires, I guess that means that perhaps not everybody is suited to that.
So if not everyone's suited to it, what you're suggesting is there may be people out there that say they're a coach, may even charge for that, but maybe don't have the right skill set or the right approach?
Yeah, so from a coaching federation perspective, our role is to try and formalize coaching as an industry. So we have a set of standards and ethical approaches, if you like, that we're trying to bring into the industry. Just like if you think about medicine or any other sort of formal industry, you've got to remember that coaching is still very young. And so we're in the early stages of this process. And so, when you bring in, so the governing bodies such as ICF are really sort of starting this process of professionalizing and standardizing approaches. That means that they will accredit certain coaching models, and they are recommending people use coaches that have accredited in those models because they are recognized as delivering great value from a coaching perspective.
Do you need to be? Do you need to have a particular qualification in order to be recognized as a coach by the ICF?
Yes, you need to have gone through an accredited coaching training program, and then you have to. So that is to join the federation. Then that is a simple process. You join the federation. To be recognized as an ICF coach, yes, you go through a training program, and then onwards from there, there are certain credentials that you can earn through experience and ongoing education.
What kind of coaching are you facilitating here? I mean, we hear life coaching, we hear business coach. There's all different kinds of coaches.
Agreed. And again, the Coach Federation looks across a fairly wide spectrum of coaching types. So we're looking at personal coaching, life coaching, executive coaching, business coaching, relationship coaching. So those are some of the key areas. And there are other niches. Certainly in the Middle East, I would say the niches are not so varied at the moment because we're just starting out on the coaching journey. If you go into a more mature market, of course, there are some very specific niches that people are coaching into, which are also supported by ICF.
If and as there are, if there are people out there who are, for example, neurolinguistic programming coaches and deal with, my big change last year was thanks to NLP. I have no idea whether she's accredited with ICF. I mean, do they need to now? Do they need to start thinking, oh God, I've got to do this in order to maintain my profession?
Yes. I mean, I think the the bottom line is that International Coach Federation is there to support people who are in coaching. This is another tool that you have in terms of presenting yourself as a professional in the industry. So if you can say, I have gone through an accredited coaching program, this is the proof that I have done that, then when you go to clients, you're saying, look, this is the caliber at which I am, as a coach. These are the processes I've gone through. These are the certificates I have. All of that is very important. We know when we're out there and the market is becoming more mature in terms of how it looks at coaching and how it purchases coaching. And so you go now to someone in the street, and at the moment they'll say, oh, if you're a coach, then I guess that will do. But over time they'll start to ask different questions. They'll say, so, what training have you got? What experience have you got? Where have you done that experience? With whom? And those are the questions that are starting to appear. And if you wait too long as a coach and you don't foresee that, then you're going to get a little bit stuck. If you understand that formalizing your knowledge and your education is going to support you and the industry in the long term, then that's a very powerful thing.
How much does it cost? Presumably to go through this process, there's a cost involved.
Well, when you say process, then I guess it varies, but to join as a member, it's $200. So that's not really much of an issue. But if you then go through an accredited coach training program, then that will be depending on the program that you select, because there's a variety of different accredited programs out there.
So they're not managed by you?
Correct. They are not. We as a federation will, coaching schools will come to us and say, look, we've got a program, a model that we believe is good enough to fit with the federation's definition of coaching and standards. So the federation then look at that, they will assess it and decide whether that is the case, and then they will accredit that course if it is appropriate. That means that they step back from that process, and it's then the school that is running that. So you, as a coach, if you're interested in going to become a coach, then you need to look out what school works for you. And all the schools are different. Some of the coaching styles are different. Some of the focus is different. So if it is sort of pure executive coaching or pure life coaching, then again, you need to look at the different schools that are available for you.
And who's becoming a coach? What sort of people who are looking and thinking, actually, I'm going to, myself, I'm going to change course and I'm going to become a coach? What sort of people?
Wow, I mean, that's huge. So many different people are looking to become coaches. I think they've been touched by a process. I mean, you've talked about motivation and so many things this morning. They've been touched by a book, maybe with another coach. They've heard something about coaching. They're curious. And those people, and from all nationalities and all backgrounds, are coming to us now and saying, hey, we're really curious about this process. Can we ask you some questions? And we said, great, that's fantastic. Come and see our community. I mean, we have regular meetings. In fact, our next meeting as a ICF community is on the 28th of this month from 7 till 9 o'clock, and that's at the Gloria Hotel in the Media City. So please come along. This is a great opportunity. In fact, on that occasion, we've got one of the coaching schools based here in Dubai that's coming to present. And so that will be a great opportunity for you to see literally what they do and how some of their models. So that would be a fantastic opportunity.
The reason I'm asking is because, surely part of what I would be concerned about is anyone can call themselves a coach. Mm-hmm. And so if you've got an issue, whether you're looking to a life coach for guidance with some decisions, whether it's in business or in your career, you want to know that the person, just because they've called themselves and they've given themselves a title, that they're actually qualified, whether that's an educational qualification or whether it's a life experience qualification in a profession or something that gives them the right to sit there and guide you. Because there must be people out there that really aren't doing a great job, but they're taking the money and calling themselves a coach.
Okay, so I agree. So I think the important thing here is that we're standardizing and professionalizing this industry. If somebody is out there and they don't have an education in coaching or a model that they're working with that is powerful enough, and they call themselves a coach, that's all very well. But at the end of the day, it's buyer beware. It's if you're purchasing coaching, you're the one that is responsible for that. There's always people out there that are I wouldn't say misrepresenting themselves. I certainly hope not, and that's part of why we're here to make sure that doesn't happen. But if they are calling themselves something, then you need to understand what that means. And from an industry perspective, we're saying these are some of the questions that you need to ask and get clarification on those things before you make a decision. Go and see a number of coaches. Don't just because someone's come to you and said, I'm a coach, assume that ticks all the boxes. It may not. Your requirements may be different to what they can achieve for you. And we believe that the ICF accredited coaches is a good starting point for you if you're looking for coaching. And we have a great selection. We've got 90 members here in the UAE. We're a growing community. If you go on the global website, which is coachfederation.org, we've got 20,000 members on that. You can search for UAE and you can find who is a member of our organization on there, and that's a great starting point for you if you're looking for a coach.
What's the difference then between somebody coaching you or teaching you or I was going to say facilitating, but I'm thinking facilitation comes as part of coaching. What's the difference then between a coach and, say, a lecturer or a teacher?
Great. So very different perspective. If you're a teacher, for example, or a lecturer, what you're doing is you are the source of all knowledge, and you're standing there, if you like, in front of this individual, and you're telling them, you're saying, this is what you need to do, this is the process, this is how it works. A coach works very, very differently. They assume, and we make this assumption very powerfully, that the individual has the answers. So we're not there to tell the answers, we're there to draw the answers out of the individual. And we do that through a questioning process, through interacting, through a creative process as well, using a whole range of different tools. We know that if the answers come from the individual, they're much more powerful. I like to use, we get the idea of metaphors, if you like. If you tell your child, don't put your hand under the hot water, you'll get burnt, right? What happens? The child sticks their hand under the hot water. It's not until they've experienced that themselves. Now they have the knowledge, and they won't stick their hand under the water. So what we're saying is that you have the knowledge. Let's use that knowledge. Don't rely on me telling you something, because you won't believe me. You don't engage with it at the same level. It doesn't have the same level of power.
Just going back to your original definition, which seemed very loose to me, but it sounds to me as if you just sort of narrowed it down a little bit. Are you talking about personal development, the drawing out of somebody's personal ambition, what's really within them, as opposed to the teaching of something?
Yeah, coaches are not teachers. They are there to facilitate a growth in the individual with the knowledge and experience that they already have in-house. So in some cases, what we're doing is we're helping the individual to get out of their own way. That's a huge blocker for most of us, right? We've talked about limiting beliefs and some of the other factors you've mentioned this morning.
And being locked in your cocoon.
Yeah, absolutely. So that happens, and there are some processes and things going on inside of you that restrict you. A coach's role is to come in and help you to remove those, so that the potential that sits inside you, which is just immense, is then is liberated and is free to move more effectively. The impact that each and every individual can have in the world is huge, and all we're trying to do is liberate that potential.
Looking at metaphors and also maximising one's potential, who is it that motivates you? Who do you go to?